It was with great pleasure that I called on Harriet, our next speaker. And Harriet will be presenting her story, and it's called Rewriting My Fate. Rewriting My Fate. Welcome, Harriet.
Hi, everybody. My name is Harriet Alita Lai, and I'm so happy and honored to be with you here today to talk about my experience. I was diagnosed with a genetic mutation, and I opted for a double mastectomy with immediate implant-based reconstruction. I can see the format. The patient speakers are going after the surgeons, and so that's what I did. So my mother's sister had breast cancer, her cousin had breast cancer, and then so did my mother. All had various types of treatments depending on the stage, and all survived. I told my doctor about my family history, and she recommended I get genetic testing. And I found myself in a situation played out in Greek tragedies and Shakespeare plays. Is it better to know your fate or not? If you do know your future, would you act to change it? I didn't have to get genetic testing. Many in my situation do not. But I had had an extremely aggressive and rare form of leukemia at the age of 15. And if there was anything I could do to avoid, once again, having to completely surrender any chance of controlling my life, or if I would have to completely surrender any control of my life, then I knew that I would do it. The results came right before Christmas, and I was nursing my 4-month-old daughter and trying to simultaneously play with my 3-year-old son. The genetic counselor wrote to me to say that she wanted to find time to speak on the phone with me soon. I know all about phone calls. My mouth went cold and my heart quickened. Please, just tell me over email, I wrote back. I have a baby, I have a toddler, I can't predict my availability, and I just want to process this on my own time. It seems like I was saying, I know what you're going to tell me, but please look at this life I have. Please don't take this all away from me. My gene is called PALB2. It's not as famous as BRCA, but it carries a similar significance in terms of risk. In my first meeting with my oncologist, she asked if I was considering a prophylactic double mastectomy, and I said what I knew to be true. I would get the surgery, but I wasn't ready yet. Do you have a date in mind? She asked. I thought about the ages of my kids and their childcare situation, and also the amount of time that I felt comfortable waiting. Probably in 3 years, I said, fairly off the cuff. She wrote that in my chart. Someone asked me how I came to the decision for reconstruction as opposed to flat, and the answer is that I wanted my body to look as close as possible to the same. And for me, my breasts are an important part of the way I look and my femininity, but they're also just a shape that I'm used to. I didn't really think about going flat. And I'd nursed 2 babies and I wanted my clothes to fit the same, and I just wanted the continuity of that. I also chose nipple sparing and skin saving surgery for the same reasons. I was used to my body and I liked it and I wanted to maintain what I could. And I knew that doing the surgery prophylactically gave me these choices that I might not have if I were to ever get cancer. I was constantly assured by my entire medical team, who were truly wonderful, that this was my decision to make. Nobody was trying to push me in any direction. There was no right choice. But I didn't want to leave it to fate. And so I picked a random date that seemed far in the future, which felt like the biggest gamble I've ever taken. It's a huge surgery, and I didn't want to do it before it felt necessary to me, but I also didn't want to wait until it was too late. The leukemia that I'd had as a teenager had been so quick to rip through my body. It was a matter of days, really, that it would have been and while I knew that the breast cancer was not at all the same, I saw this new situation through the cloud of my past. A few years later, after I had already booked my surgery, the double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction, I met with a social worker who's here today and so wonderful, who was part of my hospital care team. And I told her, I've already booked it, but I don't feel committed. I just wanted to book it, but I can cancel it. And she said, oh, I see. And if you were going to cancel it, why would you do that? And I just burst into tears because I'm scared. I said, I'm scared of surgery. I'm scared of the aftermath of it. And I'm scared of a new body, a body that isn't my own. I'm scared of the loss of sensation that I was told to expect. And I'm scared of pain. I was just scared of so much. But as I was speaking, I realized that I would never not be afraid. Why would I stop being scared? what would have to happen? Fear was a perfectly normal situation to the situation. It was a perfectly normal reaction to the situation of facing the unknown. Because of my experience, I have a healthy fear of cancer. I am reverent of its powers. I have lived with the ways that it can change the course of a life, and this time I chose to do what Oedipus and Macbeth could not. I would change my fate. The night before my surgery, I, for the very first time, if you can believe it, Googled my procedure. I prefer to put stock in individualized conversations with healthcare professionals, but now, looking at the first page of results, I was panicking. Why had I not Googled this before? I clicked on a medical paper, fearful of what I would find. But then I read that of the patients in the study who had had the procedure I would be having at 8 o'clock the following morning, all of them reported a dramatic, if not complete, drop in cancer-related anxiety. I put down my phone. If that happens to me, I thought, this will be worth it. The surgery happened the next morning, which was 2 years and 11 and a half months after learning about my gene. And I had said I would do it 3 years later, and that was 11 and a half months ago today. And the surgery went smoothly and according to plan. And I did feel great existential relief, but I also felt pain and discomfort, which was I was expecting, but I could manage it well with the medication, and I felt prepared for what I was going to be experiencing. But mostly through all of that, I felt deeply taken care of. A friend organized a meal train, and I came home to soup and bread and flowers and dinners and treats and books and gifts on my porch every day for the intense 6-week recovery. Every day at dinner time, instead of feeling any complicated feelings about my surgery, I felt a completely uncomplicated, overwhelming gratitude for my community. Several weeks out, the pathology report came back. The first surgeon, the one who removes the breasts, not the one who inserts the implants, the first surgeon told me on a Zoom call that the right side had come back with something that isn't cancer, he said, and it isn't precancer, but it is an indication that cancer was likely on the way. I'm happy with my results aesthetically. I think I look good and I feel good, but I have a completely uncomplicated gratitude for a result much more important to me. I have that dramatic, if not complete, drop in cancer-related anxiety, and I am in the world, playing with my little kids, living my little life with the knowledge that I rewrote my fate. So thank you.